committee room so we can establish a quorum. I'd like to bring the meeting of the Appropriations Committee to order. Today will be our longest hearing of the year, so fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a mostly smooth flight. We have a large agenda with a total of 202 bills on file, but we only have 18 of them are eligible for a due pass motion. The remaining bills are suspense items. The following bills that are still on the file will go directly to the floor under our 28.8 rule. That is AB 558 by Assemblymember Lowe, AB 759 by Assemblymember Linder, and AB 783 by Assemblymember Daly. In addition, the following bills that are still on file have been rescheduled for our next hearing. Pay close attention. It's AB 12 by Assemblymember Cooley, AB 516, Assemblymember Mullen, AB 517 by Assemblymember Gallagher, Assembly Bill 808, Assemblymember Ridley Thomas, AB 1047 by Assemblymember Cooper, AB 1393 by Assemblymember Burke, and AB 1432 by Assemblymember Bonta. A list of all these bills is with the sergeants. I will also like to remind the audience and members that our testimony should only be limited to the fiscal aspects of the bill. Please, please, please refrain from any lengthy policy discussions in your comments. Sergeants, would you please call the absent committee members again and the following authors who are presenting so that we can get started. Members that are presenting bills today with the due pass recommendation are Assemblymember Gatto, Bonilla, Banta, Wilk, Ting, Tababne, Dali, who's here, thank you, appreciate it. Gallagher, Irwin, Patterson, Levine, Bloom, Daly, and Chow. So, members, we're going to begin with Assemblymember Dali, who's here. Please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members.
Let me just, Mr. Dali, before you begin, I want to just double check. You have several items that you're waiving.
Yes,
You're waiving on AB 221, 259, 1269, 1292, and 1319. Is that correct?
Correct.
Wait, we're down.
Oh, sorry.
No, those aren't my. Sorry.
I was like, wow, you have a lot of bills for Republicans. Joking. So you are, I'm sorry, you have 3 items with us. You are waiving on 429 and 590.
Yes, correct.
So you do have a due pass recommendation on AB 264. Floor is yours.
That's the bill I'm presenting on. I just wanted to, it just barely eked over the amount to send it to approp, so I wanted to let you know I'm a seed farmer. This bill harmonizes the seed law. We've had no opposition to the bill, and I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. Witnesses in support.
Dennis Albiani with the California Seed Association. We've worked with all the folks, including the administration, on this bill, and we hope you can see it through today.
Thank you. Additional witnesses in support of this item. Witnesses in opposition. Finance.
Jacqueline Wong Hernandez, Department of Finance. Department of Finance is neutral on this bill. We think it would consolidate most regulatory oversight responsibilities for the seed industry. Under the CDFA's Seed Services Program, costs would be minor and absorbable.
Thank you. Questions from committee? Seeing none, we are going to establish a quorum before we take this vote. Secretary, please call the roll.
Laura?
Here.
Laura here. Bates? Here. Bates here. Bell? Hill? Here. Hill here. Leyva? Mendoza? Here. Mendoza here. Nielsen? Here. Nielsen here.
We have a quorum, members, and we do have a motion on this item. Secretary, please call the roll.
The motion is due pass to the Senate floor. Laura?
Aye.
Laura, aye. Bates? Bates, aye. Bell? Leyva? Hill? Aye. Hill, aye. Leyva? Mendoza? Aye. Mendoza, aye. Nielsen? Aye. Nielsen, aye.
You do have enough votes, Senator, but we're going to keep that open until our absent members set on. Thank you. Next, I see Senator Bonilla. Please come forward. Senator Bonilla, you have several items. You do have due pass recommendations on AB 180 and AB 963. Let's start with AB 180.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. And I would like to waive presentation on a really long list of bills. Do you want me to read them all?
Let me read those bills for you. It's AB 63, 141, 177, 179, 181, 577, 662, 706, 798, 849, and 1060.
Thank you.
Perfect.
I'd like to present AB 180, which will merge the Funeral Directors and Embalmers Law and the Cemetery Law into the Cemetery and Funeral Bureau Act and merge their separate funds into a renamed Cemetery and Funeral Fund. This is a sunset bill, does a few other things, but would appreciate your support.
Thank you. Witnesses in support? In support of this item? Go ahead.
Chair Jerry Desmond, on behalf of the Cemetery and Mortuary Association of California, we're comfortable with the bill. We're not in official support, but we're fine with the provisions and the merger of the funds and the new provisions in the bill. Since we testified in policy, we want to make sure we came to fiscal as well.
Great, thank you. Are you in support of the bill or against it?
I'm the Bureau Chief with the Cemetery and Funeral Bureau. The Department of Consumer Affairs would be the one to take an official position on the bill.
Okay,
Just to answer questions.
perfect. Witnesses in opposition? Finance?
We're neutral on this bill as well. We think it increases the efficiency and effectiveness of the Bureau.
Thank you. Questions from committee? Thank you. There's no questions from committee. There is a motion by Senator Hill. Secretary, please call the roll.
The motion is due pass to the Senate floor. Laura?
Aye.
Laura, aye. Bates? Bates, aye. Bell? Bell, aye. Hill? Hill, aye. Leyva? Mendoza? Mendoza, aye. Nielsen? Nielsen, aye.
Thank you. We're going to keep that item open to allow our missing members to add on. Next, you have AB 963.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. AB 963 will end the existing confusion on what activities are creditable for CalSTRS membership. CalSTRS predicts the fiscal impact of this bill is below $100,000 and predicts the Appropriations Committee analysis also predicts it's about $100,000 of special fund money for technology costs, and I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Witnesses in support?
Joycelyn Martinez-Wade with California State Teachers Retirement System, sponsors of the bill, and here to answer any questions you may have.
Michelle McKay Underwood on behalf of the Association of California Community College Administrators. We think this is a very important bill to deal with the CalSTRS eligibility issue, and will save a lot of costs locally for employers and individuals to deal with this at the state level. So for that reason, we support this bill and respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Salvia Senor with the Association California School Administrators, and we're also here in support.
Mr. Chair and members, Erin Evans-Budum on behalf of the School Employers Association of California in support. Thank you.
Jennifer Baker with the California Teachers Association in strong support.
Mark McDonald, McCallum Group on behalf of the Los Angeles, Los Rios, and South Orange County Community College Districts also in support. Thank you.
Nancy Lacoste, and I'm representing the Schools Excess Liability Fund, which is comprised of half the school districts in the state, and we're in strong support. Thank you.
Ashley Satude on behalf of the North Orange County Community College District in support.
Carlos Machado with California School Board Association in support as well. Thank you.
Any additional witnesses in support? Witnesses in opposition? Seeing none, finance.
According to CalSTRS, and has been noted, the bill will impose technology-related administration costs of approximately $100,000 special fund. Additionally, we believe that the proposed methodology for calculating pensions will result in a minor increase in the final compensation for some late career members with below average earnings, but we don't have a calculation for that.
Thank you. Questions or comments from committee? Seeing none, there's a motion by Senator Hill. Secretary, please call the roll.
The motion is due pass to the Senate floor. Laura?
Aye.
Laura, aye. Bates? I'm sorry? Bates, aye. Bell? Bell, aye. Hill? Hill, aye. Leyva? Leyva, aye. Mendoza? Mendoza, aye. Nielsen? Nielsen, aye.
7-0, that bill is out. Thank you, Senator Bonilla. Let's quickly go back to the item so we can have Senator Leyva add on? We are, oh, and Senator Bell as well. We're going to open up file item, I'm sorry, we're going to open up AB 180. Secretary, please call the roll.
The motion is due pass to the Senate floor. Leyva? Aye. Leyva, aye.
7-0, that item is out. Next, we have AB 264. Secretary, please call the roll.
The motion is due pass to the Senate floor. Bell? Aye. Bell, aye. Leyva? Aye. Leyva, aye.
7-0, that item is out. Is that all we have so far? Perfect. Okay, Sergeants, if you can please call the members who are presenting. We are going to move through our agenda. For those that have waived presentation, we're going to work down the file beginning with SB 423 by Senator Bates. Witnesses in support, witnesses in opposition, finance.
Department of Finance is opposed to this bill because we don't think that DTSC is the most appropriate state entity to adopt regulations establishing standards for non-prescription pharmaceuticals. The Department of Public Health currently administers the Medical Waste Management Act, and we believe that a more appropriate remedy would be to clarify what should be included and excluded from those definitions and eliminate the confusion rather than establishing an additional layer of management to be administered by DTSC.
Thank you. Comments or questions from committee? Seeing and hearing none, without objection, we're going to move this item to the suspense file. Moving on to SCA 8, Senator Mendoza. Witnesses in support. Witnesses in opposition. Please come forward.
He hasn't waived.
Oh, are you, I'm sorry, you're presenting? Oh. Yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot. I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't have you here as waived, but no, there's no members, so go ahead. Members, this is SCA 8, Senator Mendoza. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, while I understand that SCA 8 will go to suspense, I appreciate you allowing me to make a brief presentation to respond to the fiscal concerns that have been raised. This is a bipartisan measure that will require that any county that has 2 million or more residents, based upon the 2020 census, add 2 seats to their Board of Supervisors. Currently, this will affect only 5 counties. Expanding the number of supervisorial seats for the state's largest counties will provide the opportunity for these bodies to be more responsive and reflective of the needs of the people they represent and serve. SCA 8 has strong and effective cost control by requiring funding of the expanded board at the 2020 to 2021 pre-expansion levels. To address concerns that have been raised regarding the expenditure cap and the fear that it may be too restrictive, I will continue to work with stakeholders on a more creative expenditure cap mechanism to provide expanded boards with the appropriate flexibility to adjust funding as the county population increases. I appreciate your time today and would respectfully ask for your aye vote at the appropriate time.
Thank you, Senator Mendoza. Witnesses in support. Witnesses in opposition, please come forward.
Mr. Chairman, Senators Alan Fernandez on behalf of the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors here in opposition to the bill. Just 2 brief points, and specifically related to the cost and fiscal issues. I want to thank the Senator for his comment on the cost cap. That continues to be an issue, so we look forward to whatever progress we might be able to make on that provision. We believe that the goal is laudable, but the approach taken in SCA 8 is unwise, and we continue to oppose, primarily because we don't believe that voters in one jurisdiction should dictate the representation in another, and that's what we have with SCA 8. We understand the goal is to increase and promote effective representation. We think the current cost cap that was referenced actually is antithetical to that goal, and so that's why we appreciate the author's comments in that regard and look forward to working on that specific provision should the measure make it forward. But at this time, we do oppose the bill.
Thank you.
Good morning, Dorothy Holzen with the California State Association of Counties with oppose unless amended based on the grounds of that cost cap moving forward. Estimates from our counties who would likely be impacted have a $43 million one-time cost for updating meeting space, offices, and other necessary equipment upgrades, and then an ongoing $2.5 million annual cost is one of our samples. So we look forward to working with the author to address those cost concerns, but to remain with an oppose unless amended position. Thank you.
Julian Voris on behalf of the Urban Counties Caucus, also here with an opposed list amended similar to CSAC. We have policy and fiscal concerns with the bill and would like to see that cost cap worked on as we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional witnesses in opposition? Seeing none. Finance.
We're neutral on the bill, and we don't see a state-level impact.
Thank you. Comments or questions from committee? Senator Nielsen.
Well, Mr. Chairman, the state legislature doesn't increase the numbers of senators and assembly people as the population of California has exponentially increased over the years. We seem to get along very well. Well, some folks out there would not think so. Sometimes I agree with them, as you hear me saying all the time, but my point is here, this pretty big imposition on the counties. It certainly is a fiscal implication, the cost of the additional supervisors. I'm particularly concerned about a provision that says the charter county could not elect supervisors in an at-large manner. I think this is an unacceptable and dangerous trend, and that provision alone is enough to cause me to vote no. I would just simply say to the members, be cautious. This is not a small bill, and the expressions here by people that represent the counties. Now, maybe not those particular 5 counties. They may be in support. I didn't see them come forward and say that, though. But I think it's an idea whose time is not yet and may not ever be. But I particularly have problems with that at-large provision. I will be a no vote.
Thank you, Senator Nielsen. Any additional comments or questions from committee? Seeing none, Senator Mendoza, would you like to close?
Mr. Chair, again, I know it's going to suspense and would love to continue working with you on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Without objection, we would put this item in the suspense file. Next, we have Senator Holden. Senator Holden, you have 6 items. You're waiving on 4 of those? You're waiving on 252, 1162, 1293, and 1378, correct?
That's correct. 288.
You have 2 suspense items that you're presenting on, beginning with AB 15.
Well, no, actually, AB 288. AB 15, we were also waiving.
You're also waiving?
Yeah. Wait, what are you presenting on? I'm speaking on AB 288.
288. Okay, perfect. Floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, sir. Chair and members, I appreciate the opportunity to present AB 288 this afternoon. AB 74% of our graduating high school youth who enter community college are not ready for college-level English or math. These students, mostly low income, do not enter college ready, have only a 43.6% likelihood of moving on to college-level English and a 30.6% chance of moving on to college-level math. AB 288 is going to increase exposure to college-level coursework and college environment for underserved students by authorizing community college districts to form partnership agreements. The agreements build pathways that form career technical education, college readiness courses, and college-level general education courses that prepare students for college life. There is a 10% statewide enrollment cap on the number of students that can participate in the pathways offered in this bill, which will cap the cost of the bill. I respectfully ask for your aye vote at the time that this comes off of suspense.
Thank you. Witnesses in support.
Cindy Hillary on behalf of the 34 rural counties in California in support. Although we preferred this bill without the cap, we do see this as a step in the right direction. Often rural areas do not have the opportunities available to them at the public high schools that this bill would offer opportunities for higher level coursework, career technical coursework, and STEM classes that are not available at typical high schools in rural areas, and that's why we support. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Additional witnesses in support.
Mr. Chair and members, Vince Stewart with the Community College Chancellor's Office. We're in strong support of this measure. One of the sponsors, we do believe that students will be able to move through college more quickly and more efficiently, resulting in savings to both the student and to our system. Urge your aye vote.
Thank you, Chair. Members, Mark McDonald, McCallum Group, on behalf of the Los Angeles, Los Rios, Peralta, Pasadena, San Bernardino, San Diego, South Orange County, West Kern, Yuba Community College Districts in support. And on a fiscal note, I just would like to point out that to the extent that the students are earning the college credits in high school, then that's just the state paying it forward, so to speak, because the state then is not paying for those credits in the year 1 or year 2 out from high school. And to the extent that those students are transferring to a CSU, the state's actually saving money on those units because it's more expensive to educate a student at CSU than at a community college. Thank you.
Good morning, Lizette Neverett on behalf of the Community College League of California, representing the 72 district, proud co-sponsor of the bill, and for the reasons stated, we are in strong support.
Mr. Chair, members, Brendan Tuig on behalf of Ed Voice in support.
Sylvia Solisha on behalf of the City of Santa Monica and on behalf of the Board of Supervisors for the County of Madera in support.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members. Leangela Reed on behalf of the Association of California School Administrators in support.
Erin Evans on behalf of the San Bernardino County Office of Education and the districts within the county. Thank you. In support.
Mr. Chair and members, Kevin Tromer on behalf of the Compton Unified School District in strong support.
Ashley Situde on behalf of North Orange County Community College District in strong support.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Tony Rice on behalf of the Los Angeles Area Chamber of Commerce in very strong support. Thank you.
Mr. Chair and members, Angela Haywood on behalf of the California State NAACP in support.
Mr. Chair and members, Erica Hoffman on behalf of the California School Boards Association, also in support.
Mr. Chairman and members, Moira Top here on behalf of Orange County Business Council. We think this is an important workforce bill. Appreciate your support. Thank you.
Alejandro Espinosa on behalf of State Superintendent of Public Instruction Tom Torlakson in support.
Good morning. Kasasi Brooks on behalf of Policy Link and the Alliance for Boys and Men of Color in strong support. Thank you very much.
Ernesto Sosa on behalf of Latino Coalition for a Healthy California in support. Thank you.
Jennifer Baker with the California Teachers Association. We have a supportive amended position on the bill. We have 2 policy amendments that we're seeking to work with, which I've enumerated in our letter, and we're working with the Author's Office and Senate Education Committee and believe we can come to language that's going to work for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Witnesses in opposition of the measure? Seeing none, Finance.
The Department of Finance is neutral on this bill because it eases administrative restrictions on concurrent enrollment while maintaining what we feel is an appropriate programmatic and fiscal safeguard that could result in more high school students benefiting from the opportunity to concurrently enroll in community college courses that may lead to expedited and lower cost paths to college degrees and certificates, earlier entry into the workforce, and the potential for more students to access public higher education within existing state resources. We also think that it fosters collaboration between community colleges and school districts, particularly in the area of remedial instruction that are consistent with investments in this area included in the Budget Act. That said, we don't disagree with the committee's fiscal on this bill. We think that the bill could create Proposition 98 general fund cost pressures to provide additional apportionment growth, funding to the extent that high school students enroll at CCCs. It could also create Proposition 98 general fund cost pressures to backfill the loss of fee revenue because the bill prohibits fees being charged.
Thank you. Comments or questions from committee? Senator Nielsen.
Mr. Chairman, I'm very supportive of the legislation. It is indeed a step forward for career tech ed, and I'm glad to see the Superintendent of Public Instruction being supportive. That office historically has not been very supportive of career tech ed. And in fact, just in the last year, the governor has come around to being very supportive of career tech ed in this very budget. And this is a step forward. Those career pathways will help direct our students, and I think it'll help in terms of the dropout. Everybody does not need to go to college, and directing to a career pathway is a very helpful thing. So I believe that this is a positive step for our students to matriculate into the work world, if not then moving on up to higher ed.
Okay, additional comments or questions from committee? Seeing none, Senator Holden, would you like to close?
I do recognize this is on suspense, and we look forward to the committee hopefully bring it off suspense and ask for your support at that time.
Great, thank you. Without objection, we'll move this bill to the suspense file.
Thank you.
Next, we have Senator Bonta. Oh, sorry. McCarthy comes before Bonta. Senator McCarthy, welcome.
Thank you.
You have 3 items in our committee, all of which are suspense candidates. My understanding is you're going to present on AB 47?
Correct, just the one.
Correct. And you have waived presentation on AB 387 and 532?
Yes.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Thank you. I'm pleased to present AB 47, the Preschool for All Act of 2015, which helps allow all low-income kids in California access to our state preschool program. As you know, overwhelming research shows investing in quality early education is highly effective in closing the achievement gap, preventing kids from entering our juvenile justice system, and fighting poverty. In this year's budget, the importance of quality early ed was prioritized. We added about 9,500 new slots to our state preschool program, bringing our state total to over 150,000. However, despite this increase and last year's increase, an estimated 40,000 4-year-olds go without access to TK, Head Start, or our state preschool program every year. This bill sets a framework for addressing that. And regarding cost, 2 things. One's important is this, it really sets the framework for doing this. Is up to the Budget Act each year to appropriate the funds to increase state preschool funding. But further, we would like to work with the committee staff and the Department of Financing in identifying ways to lower potential cost pressures, and respectfully ask for your aye vote when this issue comes up before the suspense list. With me today are Andrea Ball from Early Edge, California, and Tony Rice from the LA Chamber of Commerce to testify.
Thank you. Witnesses in support.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, committee members, and Assembly Member McCarty. I'm Andrea Ball, Senior Policy Advisor for Early Edge, California. We're a statewide organization that's been working for more than 10 years to increase access and quality for early childhood programs. We appreciate the author's leadership and look forward to working with the author and the committee to reduce the cost pressures identified by the committee analysis and the Department of Finance analysis. But, you know, state investments in early childhood are fiscally prudent. Research shows that for every $1 invested in quality early learning programs can save over $8 in the form of fewer students dropping out of high school, more students completing high school, going on to post-secondary education and career training, and thus resulting in higher career salaries and income. It's also vitally important to eligible working families to provide preschool to their children. And despite the recent appropriation increases in the budget, which we're very appreciative of, we still have thousands of families and children who are income eligible and do not have access to quality preschool programs. As the committee analysis points out, this bill would strengthen the promise to provide access to preschool that was outlined in last year's education budget trailer bill. We respectfully ask for your support for this measure and look forward to shaping amendments with the committee to reduce the cost pressures. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, Tony Rice on behalf of the Los Angeles Area Chamber of Commerce, over 1,600 employers representing over 800,000 jobs in the greater Los Angeles area. I know you would know them very well, Mr. Chair. I just want to spend a brief amount of time, not necessarily on the bill in general. I'll get there, but I'll be very brief also. The Chamber actually has over 30 staff members specifically tasked with and trying to be as progressive as possible as it relates to education in the state, and hopefully take over and put some policy for areas forward that the nation could model after as well. This body has been very, very good, and thank you so much over the last several years, and thank you to the Assembly member and others for their continued efforts in expanding early childhood education, as well as the investments across the entire spectrum of education in California. This is, like I mentioned, one of the core issues for the Chamber. Businesses have really kind of come on board in the last, I'd say, 5-10 years or so, and really recognizing the fact that investments in early childhood education make a magnificent difference moving forward. So to the extent that the budget allows for additional resources in this area, we'll continue to work with you, this body, the Assembly member, and the Governor's office in doing everything that we can to ensure that younger people can get the education they deserve. So thank you.
Thank you. I do really want to commend the LA Chamber for really taking progressive approach to this important issue and a whole host of other educational issues affecting LA County. So thank you for being here. Additional witnesses in support.
Mr. Chairman and members, Tim Fitzharris for the Los Angeles Universal Preschool. LAF is in strong support of this measure.
Les Shepard representing the Silicon Valley Community Foundation, and we're happy to support.
Mr. Chair and members, Monica Miller on behalf of the Jewish Public Affairs Committee of California and the JCRC of San Francisco Bay Area in support. Thank you.
Erin Evans on behalf of the Santa Barbara Unified School District in support. Thank you.
Leangela Reed on behalf of the Santa Clara County Office of Education and the Butte County Office of Education in strong support.
Sylvia Solisha on behalf of the Board of Supervisors of Sonoma County in support.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Ron Rapp speaking on behalf of the California Federation of Teachers in strong support. Thank you.
Danielle Kando Kaiser on behalf of Common Sense Kids Action. We're happy to support.
Good morning, Leah Dara, California State PTA in strong support.
Susie Costa with the Advancement Project in strong support.
Kevin Tromer with the Compton Unified School District in strong support.
Brendan Tuig on behalf of Cadango, an early childhood education provider in the Bay Area, in support.
Deborah Brown with Children Now also in support.
John Lovell, California College and University Police Chiefs Association in strong support.
Thank you. Witnesses in opposition of the measure, please come forward. Finance.
The Department of Finance is opposed to this bill, which would create 2016-17 full-year Prop 98 General Fund and non-Prop 98 General Fund cost pressures of approximately $590 million, 340 of which is Prop 98 General Fund, to provide all low-income 4-year-old children not currently served by a full-day preschool, TK, or Head Start with access to full-day preschool. The Department of Education estimates that this bill could create cost pressure to provide capacity to serve an additional 25,000 4-year-old children in full-day preschool and to provide full-day services to about 65,000 4-year-old children that currently are in part-day programs. The Department of Ed also anticipates state operations costs of approximately $925,000 and the need for 8 positions.
Thank you. Comments or questions from committee? Senator Nielsen.
Mr. Chairman, an observation. You know, how far did we go? Now, 3rd grade, next year will be 2-year-olds, 1-year-olds, extending education. This is extremely costly. It is a cost driver of great magnitude, and we ought to be aware of it. And will put pressures to cause maybe a renewal of the massive Prop 30 tax increase, which I don't think there will be the votes to do. Therefore, there's going to have to be some cutting and screaming in the rest of K-12 education for this. It is a substantial cost, and the literature that I read, and I have not exhaustively read it, but I know that it's at best arguable how helpful this kind of education is. A Head Start study in October of 2012 said 3rd grade Head Start had little to no effect on participating children in 4 areas of cognitive, social, emotional health, and parenting outcomes. There are other such studies that question the efficacy. And I think that we would be better served letting these children be raised at home, be in preschools, and I think we're just creating a lot more bureaucracy and a lot more cost with an arguable effect.
Thank you, Senator Nielsen. Any additional comments or questions from committee? Senator McCarthy, would you like to close?
Just thank you for the consideration, and we look forward to addressing some of the issues that are raised in your analysis and the finance analysis. We think there's some things that we can do to tighten it up, and just look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Without objection, we will move this bill to the suspense file.